Okay, so get this right. Today, we're going deep on ambition, controversy, the whole visionary versus con artist thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking Tyler Shultz and Theranos,
Theranos.
Elizabeth Holmes, blood testing revolution, all that.
Yeah, it's like, where's the line between, real innovation and just, like, deception, right?
Exactly. And we've got articles, interviews, the whole 9 yards to unpack.
Wow.
But we're not just, like, skimming the
Oh,
headlines.
no.
We're going deeper. Why'd Tyler Shultz, grandson of a Theranos board member, become a whistleblower?
Right.
Was Elizabeth Holmes like a visionary who messed up, or was she always a con artist?
The million-dollar question, and we can only answer it by really looking at, like, all the evidence.
Right,
So Tyler Shultz, he wasn't just some, like, disgruntled employee.
right.
This guy, Stanford degree, family tied to the company, and at first he really believed in Theranos.
Yeah, and that's what makes this so interesting. You have this break guy, 2013, joins Theranos, all idealistic, and he lands on the assay validation team.
Oh, wow.
Now, for anyone who's not a lab rat like me,
Yeah.
that means he's making sure their fancy Edison blood testing machines actually work.
Which is where things get interesting.
Oh.
Assay validation, it's super meticulous.
Okay.
Running tests, comparing results, making sure the technology is accurate, reliable, all of that.
Gotcha.
Almost right away, Tyler's seeing red flags.
Like what?
Data inconsistencies, results that don't add up, and this, like, crazy culture of secrecy.
Oh, there was one detail. I read this and it blew my mind. They had, like, barricades in the Theranos building,
Oh, wow.
blocking off sections. Employees, some there for years, had never even seen the Edison device.
It's bizarre. It's like they were creating this, mystique around their tech to avoid anyone looking too closely.
Yeah, like, don't question us.
Yeah, and for Tyler, it was direct. They gave him a list of words he wasn't allowed to use when talking about his job.
Wait, really? With, like, a banned word list?
Seriously.
If your tech is so revolutionary, why all the secrecy? It just seems like they were hiding something.
Exactly. And it wasn't just secrecy. There was a real atmosphere of fear. Like, don't question anything, especially Elizabeth Holmes.
Classic don't rock the boat situation.
Even if the boat's sinking.
Okay, so we have secrecy, no criticism allowed, and this tech that's raising doubts.
Right.
Then comes the syphilis test study, and that's when things get serious for Tyler.
Because now it's ethical. They claimed a 95% sensitivity rate for their syphilis test on the Edison, meaning for every 100 people with syphilis, it should correctly identify 95.
Right.
But Tyler's calculations showed the actual accuracy was way lower.
So the tech was potentially flawed, and they're using it to diagnose a serious disease.
With huge implications for
It's
patients.
huge. And Tyler, he's young, but he gets it. He sees how these inaccuracies could really hurt people.
Right.
And now he's got to choose. Stay quiet and be part of the problem,
yeah.
or speak up and risk it all.
It wasn't just his career either, right? This is George Shultz's grandson, former Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Huge supporter of Elizabeth Holmes. Going against Theranos meant going against family.
That's a tough spot. Truth versus loyalty, conscience versus family. His future versus patients' well-being. Intense.
Totally. So what does he do?
What did he do?
First, he tries to go internal, talks to his grandfather, hoping his connection with Holmes could fix things.
Makes sense?
Hoping for a course correction.
How's that go?
Not well. George Shultz was all in on Holmes and her vision, dismissed Tyler's concerns, told him to trust the company.
Oof. So what then? What'd Tyler do?
Well, he couldn't stay silent, so he did something bold. He contacted John Carreyrou, a reporter at the Wall Street Journal, anonymously.
Wow.
And he also filed a complaint with New York State's Public Health Lab, anonymously again, about Theranos messing with test results.
He went outside the company, risking legal trouble, his family. That's gutsy.
He was only 22. Most people that age wouldn't know where to start. But he knew he had to do something, even if it meant risking everything.
So Tyler blows the whistle, huge risk. What happens?
Theranos went full defense. They knew it was serious. They sent their lawyers, David Boies, the big gun.
Wait, David Boies, the guy who represented Al Gore, Harvey Weinstein, all those huge cases.
That's the one. And they played hardball. They showed up at George Shultz's house. Tyler was staying there and basically threatened him with lawsuits.
No way. At his grandfather's house. That's just low.
Total intimidation tactic. Silence him, protect Theranos. And while George Shultz, he was still loyal to Elizabeth Holmes, sided with the company. So Tyler's kind of out in the cold, even from his own family.
It's awful. This guy tries to do the right thing, and he gets legal threats. Family turns on him. It's like he's the bad guy.
That's how it goes for whistleblowers, sadly. People see them as disloyal troublemakers, and the cost is huge. Financially, reputation, relationships.
It was real for Tyler. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. The stress must have been incredible.
Doing the right thing can be expensive. It makes you wonder, why are whistleblowers always left hanging, taking these huge risks?
But the big question goes beyond just Theranos.
Mm.
We say we want transparency, but when someone actually speaks up, they get punished.
It's like we expect them to be martyrs, sacrifice everything for the truth, but they have lives, families, jobs. Shouldn't be this hard.
Right, let's talk about Elizabeth Holmes. Was she really a visionary who went off track? Or was she always conning people?
It's the question everyone asks. And to get the answer, you got to look past the image, the CEO persona, and see what she was really doing.
Right, she had this whole persona, the black turtlenecks, the voice, the Steve Jobs comparisons. It was all very deliberate.
And she was a great storyteller, sold this vision of easy, cheap, painless blood tests thanks to her revolutionary tech. It appealed to everyone, tapped into those hopes and fears about healthcare.
But the tech was never the point, was it? It was the promise, the potential. We'll have the data soon. Just trust us.
Exactly. That's classic con artist stuff, right? Sell the dream, no proof, and deflect any criticism with that dream.
And Holmes was great at deflecting. She stacked her board with big names. Henry Kissinger, George Shultz, former senators, defense people.
Like she was using their credibility as a shield.
Yeah, to shut down any doubt.
Smart strategy, even if it wasn't very ethical. These were super accomplished people, and their being on the board made Theranos seem untouchable. Who's going to question them, especially when it's this young woman, the face of Silicon Valley, making the claims?
But how did she fool so many smart people for so long? Was it all just charisma, or what?
I think it was a few things. First, the story itself. People wanted to believe it. They ignored red flags because they hoped it was real.
Healthcare revolution, that's a big deal.
Right. And second, that secrecy and fear in Theranos. Anyone who questioned anything got shut down.
So basically nobody could speak up.
Exactly. So you have a great story, a culture of fear, and a carefully made image. That let Holmes stay in control for a long time.
So it couldn't last forever, right?
Nope. Tyler's whistleblowing started getting attention. People started doubting Theranos. Then the Wall Street Journal publishes those articles exposing the fraud, the bad tech.
Came over for Theranos.
Exactly. Everything collapses. Holmes goes from visionary to fraud.
It's a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah.
Ambition out of control, a good story, and people not thinking critically. But it's also about courage. One person saying, no, this is wrong.
And that's Tyler. He paid a big price, but he brought down a company that was hurting people.
So where is Tyler Shultz now?
Well, he co-founded this company, Flux Biosciences.
Tell me more. What do they do?
They're developing healthcare tech, working on a device that can monitor your health, all kinds of metrics, with a simple wearable sensor.
Wow, so even after everything, he's still trying to make healthcare better. That's impressive.
It shows how resilient he is and how dedicated he is to helping people through tech. He also talks a lot about ethics in science and business now, using his experience to warn against what happened at Theranos.
That's great. He turned a bad experience into something positive. Speaking out for transparency and accountability, which is something we need a lot more of. He could have just, walked away from it all.
Oh, absolutely.
Focused on his new company. But he's out there talking about what happened, pushing for change.
Yeah, he wants more transparency, more accountability in science and tech.
His story's so powerful because it shows that anyone can make a difference.
Totally. Even when there's so much pressure, when the stakes are high, one person speaking up matters.
It wasn't just about taking down Theranos.
No, it goes way beyond that.
It made everyone rethink things. Ethics in Silicon Valley, that fake it till you make it attitude.
Right.
And especially, all these startups making big promises about healthcare.
People are paying more attention now.
It's like he started this chain reaction.
A ripple effect.
And now we're asking, how do we encourage whistleblowers? How do we balance innovation with, doing the right thing?
It's a tough balance.
How do we make sure profits don't come before people's safety?
Big questions, no easy answers. But Tyler's story gives us a place to start.
It shows that we all have a responsibility.
Absolutely.
We can't wait for someone else to speak up if we see something wrong.
We all have to play a part.
We have to hold people accountable, demand transparency, and support those who are brave enough to say something.
Like that saying, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. If we stay silent, we're part of the problem.
And Tyler's story shows us that we can make a difference.
Even when it seems impossible, when you're up against powerful people.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Theranos,
Yeah.
what are the big takeaways you hope people will remember?
I hope they understand how complex whistleblowing is, how much courage it takes, and
Right.
how much the whistleblowers sacrifice.
Yeah,
I hope they see Tyler Shultz as an inspiration. He went through so much, but never gave up on doing good.
right. He wouldn't be silenced.
Exactly. And I hope people will start thinking more critically, question authority, demand transparency.
From everyone. Work, community, the whole world.
It's not just about tech getting better, it's about being more ethical. And that needs all of us to be involved, to know what's going on and to speak up.
Well said. So, to everyone listening, here's something to think about.
Yes.
What are you going to do to make a difference? How will you use your voice to make the world a place where integrity and accountability matter? It starts now.